I'm so glad to be here, and of course I'd be remiss if I didn't take out the time to thank Holly Zielinski for this great opportunity for you to get to know me a little bit, and obviously for me to get to meet you as well. Don told you just a little snippet about me. Born in Brooklyn, New York, made my way onto the New York City Fire Department. Came from a very poor family. Born in an Italian ghetto in Brooklyn, and the 5-block radius is where every big gangster came from. And I thought that's really where my life was going to go. I mean, I admired these guys that had everything. And, as the years were going on, I was getting older and older. I had a very, very tough father, and he didn't want that life for me. You would think that somebody like him would groom me into that life, but he didn't want that life at all. He was very, very stern-fisted. As a matter of fact, he was actually very physical with me. Everything I did bad, I got a kick in the pants. And, ironically, my first job is a shoe salesman. So the first day I go for training, and, they're trying to teach me how to sell. I says, well, I'll sell ice cubes to a snowman in Minnesota in January. You don't have to tell me anything. This is, no, there's certain things you got to, you have to know how to measure feet. I don't have to measure feet. People come in, just tell them to give me a kick, and I can know what size shoe they have. But, I'm one of the 4 survivors of the collapse of the Twin Towers, the only one that survived the collapse of both towers. And that's a day that every single one of you remember. It was a day that the United States and the world stood still for 24 hours at least, just like the day President Kennedy was shot. Some of you are too young to remember. It was my 8th birthday that day. And so there's certain days that you will never ever forget, and certainly September 11th is one of them. Well, I spent 16 years in the firehouse right across the street from the World Trade Center. Engine Company 10, Ladder Company 10. And I responded to tens of thousands of alarms in that building for 16 years until I got promoted to lieutenant in 1996. And a couple of months later, on New Year's Eve of 1996 going into 1997, an alarm came into the firehouse 2 minutes after midnight when people were in Times Square ushering in the new year. And it was a report of a woman trapped on the 2nd floor of a building in Brooklyn, New York, where I was born. And in that rescue attempt, my left thumb was almost completely cut off in my hand. After the fire, they rushed me to the hospital under microsurgery, and it looked like it was going to be the end of my career. I was devastated because this is the only thing I wanted to do in life at that point. Everything that I believed in was being a firefighter. There's nothing in this world that charged me up like my job, and it was coming to an end. And I begged the doctors in the fire department, matter of fact, I have to see them tomorrow for some follow-up exams. Please, let me convalesce. I'll go to physical therapy, I'll have additional surgeries. I will prove to you that I can come back and work in a firehouse again. And they said, okay, but you're going to be out of work for about a year. You got to take what's called a light duty job. You're going to work in headquarters. I never worked in an office in my life. I'm a carpenter by trade. I'm a plumber and electrician, a very hands-on guy. I have no office skills. I don't even know how to turn a computer on. What am I going to be doing in this building? Don't tell me you're going to have me answering phones. If you called headquarters and I answered, what would you think? Tony Soprano's house. I mean, be honest with you. When I came here yesterday, I was deadly afraid of getting off the plane. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm getting off a plane in Bloomington, Minnesota. The last time somebody was here from Brooklyn that looks and sounds like me with an Italian name, what was he here for? Witness protection program. So I come out of the terminal and I rented a car because I didn't know how I was going to get around. I said, well, make it easy. I'll rent the car. And I'm waiting for the shuttle bus to come, and the shuttle bus ain't coming. And there's a woman there, she's waiting for the shuttle as well. And she starts, a little conversation. I'm carrying my uniform, and she's looking. She said, you a New York City firefighter? I said, yes, I was for 25 years. She says, oh, my God. She says, you look Italian. Is that your name, Torrillo? I said, yes, it is. She says, can I ask you a question? I said, sure, what is it? She says, how come Italians don't like Jehovah's Witnesses? I said, because we don't like any witnesses. When Holly was putting on this presentation, not only was she looking for new public speakers, she wanted entertainment. She says, Joe, maybe you can help me out. I says, well, my Uncle Tony, my Uncle Vinny, they got an orchestra. They'll work cheap. She says, okay. She says, what do you think? I said, yeah, but they show up with machine guns and baseball bats. It's not the kind of music you're going to want. You know, I'm going to take you right into the day of September 11th because I know a lot of you want to hear the story through somebody like me who actually survived it, wasn't expected to live through the night. And here I am today. People would have thought I was going to lay down and die. And you know something? That's exactly what I wanted. It took me a long time to get up in front of people and tell you about me. I was embarrassed. I'm an Italian from Brooklyn. We don't admit to these things, but you learn to. You learn to change, and you learn to change so you can help other people, so they can see you. I'm not a motivation speaker. You know why? I can't motivate you. You're the only people that can motivate yourself. I inspire you. If I can inspire you, you might begin to motivate and do the things that you really want to do. And if I learned anything, life is short, okay? Don't miss an opportunity or the chances to do the things that you really want to do. There's no reason for you to do it. For so many years, I went to a Catholic schools for 12 years. And for 12 years, I graduated. I had no connection to religion. I was taught by Catholic nuns, Catholic brothers, very strict. And I said to myself, how come I don't have religion in me? What's wrong? I was guilty. I was uptight. I was depressed. I was dejected. My life was compromised. And then I made the road to the New York City Fire Department. And every single day of my career, I couldn't understand why I loved this job so much. I loved it so much, I never saw myself leaving. It was going to be harder to leave than to actually get onto the fire department. And one day, I was thinking about it, but why? And then I looked at this patch on my shoulder. And I carried that patch for 20 years until one day I realized what it was. It was a commitment beyond anything anybody ever saw themselves doing. Today, January 10th, 1981, 32 years ago today, I stood in front of the mayor of New York City and the fire commissioner and 124 other young guys. And we raised our hands, taking the oath of office and becoming a firefighter. And I took a vow. I'd be willing to lay down my life so that somebody else might live. Your association, your company, your organization, nobody's ever asked you to take that vow. So every day you go to work, it's a good day already.